Definition of cheating. Is there a misunderstanding? Could that be it? Could it be a misunderstanding? I want to make sure this cheating thing is put out there. I don't want to speak on it and people say, no, I didn't mean that.
Rivah TV. What's up, guys? It's your girl Rivah, and I'm back again with another video. So I actually saw this clip on Instagram from Corey Holcomb's page. Now, interestingly enough, I was already intrigued on what the answer to that question was going to be from D. And then in my Instagram DM, I had a lot of people sending me this clip wanting me to react to the entire conversation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and press play, pause, play, then give you guys my thoughts, my feelings, and my opinion on this entire situation.
Well, there's different variations of it, but I believe that when people get involved in a relationship, things are established right up front in the beginning. What is it you're interested in a relationship with me? What are we about to do? What are we getting into? So if something's already established and somebody says, well, I just want to be in a monogamous relationship, I want to find somebody worthy of that. If that's established and you guys are on the same page, if they veer off or venture off with other people, then you kind of broke that code.
Now, I'm going to give you guys, a little piece of my opinion or my caveat to that. She made it very simple, right? She's like, if the two people get into a relationship and they both agree, we both want to be monogamous, we both don't want to be with nobody else, we believe a relationship only effectively consists of me and you and nobody else in the picture. Once somebody steps out of bounds in that situation, like she says, it breaks the code of the relationship. Now, interestingly enough, okay, in my personal opinion, I believe that one of the main problems that we have is that women get into relationships with men on a consistent basis, and men will say, I like a multitude of women. Their actions will show it, their words will show it, their behavior will show it. And once the woman becomes the main, she believes that somehow he is a changed person and now wants to create a facade of a relationship that he never signed up for. You have a lot of women getting into a monogamous relationship with a man who is clearly not into monogamy and then crying victim, every chance that she gets because she's not getting what she thought she signed up for, although he never told her that he was going to meet her in that space.
A woman cheats anytime she takes somebody else's word over her man that she's supposed to be loyal to.
I can get that.
You start questioning his character. You start doing things to sabotage him because of seeds that somebody else may have planted in your head. To me, that's the ultimate form of cheating. I mean, the sexual thing, that's obvious for squares. But anytime you take another person's word over your man, and you undermine him and what's best for the family, that's cheating. That's somebody who emotionally is checked out and is trying to set up things to justify doing some faulty.
I want to say something on to piggyback off of what he's saying right there as well. And if you guys hear any microphone thing that's going on, I think that he was maybe maneuvering it and it was kind of making some noises. But the whole point is, right, what I wanted to say is he just named the biggest part of what cheating really is. That's betrayal, right? The whole point, the whole premise that a lot of people talk about, oh, he cheated or she cheated or they cheated, they're really speaking on the betrayal. Hence why there's so many different forms, right? It can be emotional, it can be intimate, it can be, all kinds of different alleys or avenues that people are, cheating out of relationships. And I have to say this. Interestingly enough, I think that some of the forerunners of betrayal in relationships is absolutely women. There are women who will be at their job talking about that man, talking about his personal business to people who he does not know. He goes to the company party and he's around these people, shaking these people's hand, and they know all his personal business. That's betrayal. The ultimate form of betrayal. Even when it comes to gimmicky things like people, making certain large purchases, hiding the Amazon packages and doing all these things. If anything that you have to do in secrecy or to hide from your partner is betrayal. Betrayal is forms of cheating. When you get on the phone, like he said, calling your homegirl, your mom, your auntie, whoever it is, telling things and discussing things that majority of the time the man in the house does not even know that he did wrong is cheating. That's betrayal. And so a lot of women, this is just my personal opinion, will have all these trails of betrayal in the relationship, and then when he meets them at that space and maybe talks to somebody else, starts talking to somebody or sleeps with somebody, they're completely shocked and like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that this happened. But you've been betraying him for years.
So even if your mama or your grandmother or your sister is telling you things and you're taking their words over your man, you're cheating as a woman, in my opinion.
So a man who has sex with more than one woman, is he a cheating man?
That depends on, in my opinion, that would depend on what the ramifications are. Okay? Because a lot of women are aware that they are, on the carousel. Okay? It's just their turn. A lot of women are aware of that, but a lot of people like to make it seem as though a man who has multiple women or juggles multiple women or whatever is automatically a cheater because you don't know the depths of conversations that him and these women are having.
It depends on the man and what he established in the relationship.
With that particular person, right? With that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It depends. You got women out here that's, we dealing with some women are delusional. Some women mess with women and they don't think that they're homosexual.
I mean, we got a story we did last week. Listen, Michael Blackson girl knew he f***s. And according to what was said, she don't want to be in a relationship no more because he f***.
Again, the reasoning behind her leaving was a form of betrayal. But I addressed it already in that conversation with Michael Blackson and his fiance about that breakup situation. And I'll say it again. A lot of times women, the biggest thing for women is their need to be in control of relationships. And I know a lot of people are not going to agree with me on this, but I strongly believe this and I can give you my reasoning behind it. I believe that women can be owned and men cannot. Let me tell you why I say that. Because a man is his own person. As a woman, you go from underneath the regime of your parents, the covering of your parents, to underneath the regime of a man and the covering of a man. When you are under the regime of another person's protection, you cannot own yourself. Right? You know the saying, I can't protect what I can't control. It's the same exact sentiments. So, with that being said, a lot of women hurt themselves emotionally with the ideology that I own this other human being. I own this man. He's not his own man. I own him. And so he can't go out here. He can't do this. And even though this said man, Michael Blackson, came into the relationship saying that he, was going to have multiple women and they agreed on a certain number per week. Now you have all of these other ramifications of, you can't, well, it's just supposed to only be this amount. Well, how dare you? And well, even though there's a lot of risk that could happen, I can't believe you got somebody pregnant. Either you wanted to be a part of the situation or you didn't. And she did. She agreed to it. She was cool for it. She was high-fiving people about the situation. And then when things went left, all of a sudden now she's trying to deem this man as a bad guy and call him a cheater. And which, not to even, do too much, but I really think it's distasteful to her behavior on social media, with her homegirls and stuff like that, them welcoming her back to the streets. I think that's so distasteful because all this time you were with this man, you had nothing but good things to say about him. You were so in love with him. And now that you had the baby and you wanted a different relationship than what you signed up for, even though that's what you signed up for, all of a sudden he's a bad guy. But let's continue.
I want to make sure this cheating thing is put out there. I don't want to speak on it and people say, no, I didn't mean that. Because I'm going to tell you something about sleeping with more than one woman. I'm talking to the average American female. In all likelihood, you will not find a man who's going to sleep with only one woman. I'm not saying this.
And interestingly enough, the man who is only wanting to sleep with one woman, they don't want that man. The man who is saying, I want to settle down, I want a wife, I want kids, I don't want nobody else, I don't want to be talking to nobody else, I'm not down to deal with nobody else, I only want you. A lot of these women don't want that man. They want to take the man who is not like that and force him to be something that he already told you he isn't. Think about that.
As nobody but a male voice speaking from what I observe from males. And I'm not talking about these males that you look at just run of the mill. I don't care if your husband is a pastor. I don't care if whatever man that you dealing with. I don't know many men who sleep with only one woman. So are you telling me that all men cheat? Or is there a misunderstanding about what this supposed to do? Is there a misunderstanding? Could that be it? Could it be a misunderstanding? Because
listen, I want to say this, right? Biologically, I say this every time. Like, I feel like I should just record myself saying it and just press play so you guys can hear. But biologically, obviously, by design, naturally, okay, I know the word is naturally, a man has the ability to impregnate 100 women at a time in 12 months. Right? Or let's bring it closer, in 9 months. In a 9-month period, a woman can only get pregnant once. Biologically, we're made differently. Clearly, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know why people find a problem with that, to say that men and women are different. Although we are similar in certain ways, we're very different. It's just the biological truth. So when you hear a multitude of women saying certain things, or you hear side chick stories or baby mama stories or girlfriend and this man had this many kids, or, you know, secret people coming up and you know, alternate families, all these things, it's from a biological perspective. It makes sense. It makes logical sense. The difference is some people will actually go to the lengths of procreation for other people to find out, and some people won't. I've seen it in every demographic, okay? Every single demographic, it happens. It is ultimately a decision to be made. If a man wants to be with you alone, or if a man decides, you know what, I'm going to exercise my biological abilities in the ways in which I'm wanting to.
I used to love my wife. This was in the street. So you're telling me I'm a cheater, huh? I'm just, you know what I'm saying? I know what I did. I know what I agreed to. And I'm not making no excuses for what I did or said. But I'm telling you, most of the men I know, fuck bitches.
Yo, I know he's not even trying to be funny right now, but he's just so funny. But this is the thing. I love that he said that he knows what he agreed to, right? Because obviously to get married, there's certain verbiage that you use, there's certain things that you say when you stand there and you say, you know, I'm committed to only you, to this, to that, to all the above. You know, I'm not sure what his vows were, but probably something along those lines. And so he's taking ownership and saying, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But ironically, a lot of the people I know still exercise these same rights. And the difference is the woman. Okay, as a woman, you have to know what you can deal with. I would never sit here and champion for a woman and say, oh, you know, you have to stay with a man if he cheats on you. Do I believe that the worst possible thing that could ever happen in a relationship would be cheating? I personally don't think that. But you got to know your limit. You got to know. Some people go through alcoholism. Some people go through, harm and still stay, which, some people, cheating is like a secondary thing. They're like, oh yeah. The main thing, in my personal opinion, is a woman who knows her spouse and is not delusional in thinking. Women are very observant creatures. Okay? We observe it all. We're very observant. And to have somebody that you were in a relationship with and not observe them to the fullest, to know, oh yeah, I know he told me that was his quote unquote past, but that's still in him. It's just, it might be dormant for a little while, but that thing can still be activated. To be able to know that, and know what you're signing up for and know what you're getting into a relationship with is vital. A lot of the women who are, like I said, walking around hurting their own feelings are the women who are delusional to the facts. I don't know, I'm using Corey as an example because he brought up his ex-wife. I'm sure his wife knew the type of person he was, right? And so eventually she probably was like, okay, enough is enough, because I've heard him say in comedy and all that there was multiple occasions that there was someone. So she knows. But the ability to want to continue or to stay or whatever, her discretion to decide, okay, I'm not going to do that, or whatever the case is. You have other women who will be in a relationship and be willing to just overlook it. As long as I don't know, as long as I don't hear, I don't care. But again, it's knowing who you're with. If you as a woman want to be in a purely monogamous relationship with a man, get with a man who wants purely monogamy. Not a man you're trying to convince to want monogamy. Not a man you're trying to, play the game with and hope that you can change him. None of the above. Get with a man who wants what you want, if you want certain results. I'm going back to the situation that he talked about with Michael Blackson and Rada. She knew he wanted multiple women. She knew he currently had multiple women. She agreed for him to have multiple women. When you have that mindset on, there's possibilities. There's possibilities of certain sicknesses. There's possibilities of a baby. There's all kind of possibilities out there. So when you agree, you have to knowingly be aware of that. You can't try to put a lid on something that you already opened the door for. That don't make no sense. It's better you didn't open the door. I'd like to know what you guys think about this entire conversation. This is a very interesting conversation, so I'd love to hear you guys' perspective in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next one. Love you.
Rivah TV.